Hello, here we are. And I think we're live, so I'm quite excited to share with you. And I know a lot of you have been wondering, you want to hear the story about my wedding dress, but I'm going to tell you that in just a couple of minutes. So everybody's asking me, and this is the wedding season, so these are why I'm doing wedding gifts and wedding dresses, because in almost every one of my clients' homes, I find a beautiful wedding dress in a box, in a closet, in a basement, in an attic. And I have to say, I did an informal poll of the people in my Facebook group, Organizing Solutions for Busy Women, and 40% of those women had their their wedding dress preserved in a box that they had not looked at since their wedding day. And 30% of the women had their wedding dress hanging in their closet. So I'm literally over 2/3 of the people who replied wore the dress and haven't looked at it or really thought about it since. So I'm really going to encourage you to think about what you want to do to honor your wedding dress. Obviously, you've got lots of pictures of you in your wedding dress, I hope. But if you are not yet a bride, I want you to make sure that you get a couple of photos of you in your full-length dress all by yourself. I could not find one. So here's me and my very best friend on my wedding day. This is the one photograph I have of my entire dress without flowers, and I do have a person in front of it. So you can see my dress was a very traditional, beautiful silk shantung, one of the nicest designers ever, Priscilla of Boston. And this was in 1992. Okay, I'm going to tell you the story because I know you're dying to hear it. In 1992, we got engaged on New Year's Day, but we knew that we were moving to Cambridge, England in October. So we had a few short months to get ourselves organized. At the time, I worked at Filene's, and I heard about the Filene's running of the brides. And if you're old enough to know what that is, it is when Filene's, which was a department store in Boston, gathered up all of the wedding dresses they could, and they would sell them for $199. I think it went up to $250, but I got mine for $199. And I went with a friend of mine, and we worked our way to the very front of the line, and literally there would be women and their parents and their bridesmaids all to score a $199 wedding dress. And we were, I think, the 8th and 9th person through the doors, and it's literally a stampede. I ran in, I grabbed 6 dresses, threw them on the ground, and spread eagle over them. Women jumping over me to get to dresses. My friend grabbed 5, so I had 11 to look at. As I'm looking at them, I could tell I didn't want a beige dress or something like that. I would throw them up into the air, and other women were grabbing them out of the air. It was crazy madness. I had a unitard on and a subway token in one shoe and a credit card in the other shoe. I tried 3 dresses on. My dress was beautiful, and I think we were out of there 12 minutes later and went and got a coffee. So my dress, I had imagined I would get something very simple. My dress was originally a $3,000, and this is in 1992, Priscilla of Boston gown. It had like a 16-foot train, which I had cut off because it was quite dirty. So I bought my gown for $199. I spent about $250 having it altered and spot cleaned. And then after the wedding, I had it cleaned again for about $100, and I sold it. So I got $1,600 for my wedding dress in a resale shop outside of Boston. And so it was a $1,050 profit for me. And as a newlywed, we needed that money a whole lot more than I needed a wedding dress, especially because we were moving overseas. So my first suggestion for you for your wedding dress disposal is wear it, enjoy it, get millions of pictures, especially of you in your dress by yourself, especially if you're going to resell it. And I really recommend that you think about reselling it, because the chances of having your daughter wear it, in all of the examples, only 2 women re-wore their mother's dresses, and they were from an older generation. Someone from my generation, kind of the younger boomer generation, one of them rewore her grandmother's dress, which I thought was fantastic. But it seems that very few women who even have daughters have those daughters rewear or use those dresses. So I'm going to encourage you to resell your dress. I went on preownedweddingdresses.com. I put in all of the details of the dress that I had as if I still owned it. And they said I'd sell it for about $480 because a lot of people buy these dresses just for the beautiful fabrics and have them reworked. So I'm going to suggest that one of the first things you think about is, why are you saving it? If you don't have a daughter, or even if you do, it doesn't seem like many daughters really want to rewear their parents' dresses. And I feel like, did you want to rewear your mother's dress? Let me know. Please let me know in the comments or chat. Go ahead and sell that. Use that money to pay off some of the wedding, pay off some of the honeymoon, or just to put money aside for the future. So reselling is my first suggestion. Reusing is my second suggestion. And I have to say, again, my clients are, my members of the group are so clever. One of the people used the fabric of her wedding dress to make a beautiful christening gown, to start a new tradition. And her two sons, and I think her sister's sons, now everyone is using this christening gown. So that was a great way of reusing the dress and starting new family tradition. Someone else suggested that they had someone make the skirt of their gown into a gorgeous Christmas tree skirt. And I loved that idea as well. You can revisit your dress every year and bring it out. Now, some women say that they plan on re-wearing their dresses for perhaps like a second ceremony. I got to tell you, I was a size 6 when I got married. I gained 10 pounds the week after that. It's as if my body knew it didn't have to fit in that dress anymore. So again, I don't know if that's worth doing. Another thing that, and this is slightly different, but one of the people in my group said that in her culture that you wear a red sari when you leave the reception with your husband to start your new life together. And her mother's sari had been worn by her mother's sisters, herself, her sisters, and they're hoping to save it for the next generation. So I think that's a beautiful suggestion. And maybe save that reception garment, or like a scarf, or the jewelry, or the veil, something much smaller, to set, something old, something new, to have something from your wedding, but not necessarily your giant, probably at the time, very dated wedding dress. Okay. And then finally, there's recycling. So we've talked about reselling, reusing, and recycling. And it did make me laugh because a few divorced women said that they happily trashed their dresses. But perhaps instead of throwing it away, it might be better to donate it. So if you've been married within the last 4 years, Brides Across America collects wedding dresses for women in the military or first responders to be able to give them a dress. So they are quite specific. It has to be a dress within the last 4 years, and it also has to be a size 0 to 6 and a size 16 to 30. Those in between kind of common sizes, they have too many. So that's a possibility. Another great suggestion is going to your local high school or college and asking them if they would like the dress, because we've had 2 people in the chat who mentioned that they had done that. Even if they don't want the dress itself, if they're clever, the costume department can rework the fabric and dye it. If it's white or ivory and silk, it will dye very easily. So that can be a second life for that dress. And another wonderful suggestion is a close friend of mine, Lola Lombard at lolalombard.com, takes only white and only silk wedding dresses and paints them into magical, fantastic new garments that are then worn to galas or super special events. So that's something else to consider. And you can see her information in my Tip Tuesday, or go to my website, simplifyu.com, so that you can find out how to donate to Lola Lombard if you want your wedding dress to live on as a living work of art. So there you go. There's just a few suggestions for you of how to resell, reuse, or recycle your wedding dress. But what I really want you to do is really reconsider why it's in a box or hanging in your closet. If you were to divorce, I doubt you'd wear that same dress for the next wedding. And have a conversation. I actually have a daughter. I'm thinking she's pretty glad that I didn't save this dress so that she didn't have to insult me by saying, no, not really. That frees her up to make her own decisions. And chances are, she'll just take the money and go. So it's been a delight to chat with you, and all things wedding. If you need more tips and tricks about organizing, be sure to sign up for my Tip Tuesday, which comes directly to your email inbox every Tuesday at www.simplifyu, or join our really fun Facebook group, Organizing Solutions for Busy Women. That leaves me to thank you for tuning in. Bye-bye.